I'm about to ruin everybody's childhood. The nursery rhyme, The Three Little Piggies. In the nursery rhyme, it says this little piggy went to market, and I always thought that it meant he just went shopping. But that's not what it means. When a pig goes to market, it means it actually goes to get slaughtered. It gets killed. So that little piggy probably got made into a sausage or something. Poor little piggy.
I'm about to ruin your childhood. Walt Disney didn't like Jewish people, abused women, and was racist as well. The voice of Elmo was a predator that targeted minors. Mr. Mosby went to jail for killing a 21-year-old with his car while he was intoxicated. The lion costume from The Wizard of Oz was made with real lions. Dr. Seuss was a racist who abused his wife who had cancer, who eventually killed herself because of this. I'm about to ruin your childhood. Remember Good Luck Charlie? Teddy was never holding the camera. And remember Freddie from iCarly? He was never the cameraman. My whole life is a lie.
TV show conspiracies that will ruin your childhood. The characters in SpongeBob are not just fish that can talk. They're actually creatures that have mutated due to nuclear bomb testing. From 1946 to 1958, America did nuclear bomb testing in Bikini Atoll, which is where Bikini Bottom is located. Every explosion in SpongeBob is the same exact shape as the real-life explosions America performed. The Flintstones and Jetsons actually live in the same exact year. They live in a post-apocalyptic world after a nuclear war hundreds of years before. After the nuclear bomb, the rich part of society, like the Jetsons, built cities in the air. The poor part of society was forced to stay on the ground, which includes the Flintstones, until radioactive levels go back down. This is why the Flintstones celebrate Christmas, even though the birth of Jesus Christ happened after the Stone Age. Also, the talking dinosaurs are just mutated animals.
I'm about to ruin your childhood. Remember the movie Up? Carl was dead the whole movie, and Russell was an angel just trying to earn his wings. Russell's a kid because Carl and Ellie could never have one. When he reaches Paradise Falls, this represents heaven where he can finally be reunited with his wife. I'm about to ruin your childhood. Remember those mood rings we loved as a kid? They don't change on your mood. They change based on temperature, and many of them contain dangerous chemicals like mercury and arsenic. I'm about to ruin your childhood. Ever wonder why Buddy was so obsessed with Mr. Incredible? It's because Buddy is Mr. Incredible's son. Before he was married, he had a secret affair with Buddy's mom. All he ever wanted was to spend time with his dad, but Mr. Incredible shut that down real quick. This explains his weird obsession with Mr. Incredible and his motivation to get back at the family, which he should have been a part of. Just look at the similarities between them. And yes, he did have powers. He was extremely smart. I'm about to ruin your childhood. Ever wonder why there's no consequences when Timmy uses the fairies? It's because Cosmo and Wanda are a figment of Timmy's imagination. Timmy's parents died in a tragic car accident years earlier. Since they were the only adults that ever understood Timmy, he finds comfort imagining that they are watching over him. Timmy's abusive upbringing with his terrible babysitter, not to mention the abuse of Mr. Crocker, have only added to the trauma that Timmy experienced as a child. Sorry guys.
I am about to ruin everybody's childhood. So everybody's watched SpongeBob in their lifetime. And one of the characters in SpongeBob is called Pearl. She's Mr. Krabs' daughter, and she's a whale. And I'm gonna tell you how she's gonna die. Whales are a mammal, so they breathe air, which is why you see them come to the surface. But over time, whales lose the strength to be able to bring themselves to the surface to breathe, so they slowly drown. And this is exactly what's gonna happen to our mate Pearl. Share this video and ruin someone's day.
I'm about to ruin your childhood. Isn't it peculiar that the name Nemo translates to no one in Latin? This is because Nemo does not actually exist. Nemo was an imaginary device that Marlin used to cope with the death of his wife. We see Marlin go through the 5 stages of grief in this film. First is denial when he invents Nemo's egg after the rest of his family is killed. Second is anger. Marlin freaks out every time Nemo is far away from him. Third is bargaining as he convinces Dory to come on his quest with him. Fourth is despair when he sees Nemo get flushed down the toilet. And finally acceptance as he is able to let Nemo go off on his own in the end. I'm sorry guys. I'm about to ruin your childhood. Did you ever wonder why all the Lost Boys in Peter Pan never grew up? That's because they were all dead and Peter Pan was the angel of death that took them to the underworld. Captain Hook was the devil. I'm sorry guys. I'm about to ruin your childhood. Did you ever notice Kristoff's fur is made from reindeer? This is because the fur is made from Sven's dead mother. The ice harvesters killed Sven's mom. They gave Kristoff his mother's belt, and Kristoff was left to raise Sven himself. This is why Sven is so close to Kristoff. The smell reminds him of his... I'm about to ruin your childhood. Did you ever wonder why Candace's mom can't see the amazing things that Phineas and Ferb do? This is because Phineas and Ferb are actually a figment of Candace's imagination. After not being able to handle Phineas's tragic childhood death, and Ferb having a disability that restrains him from talking or moving too much, Candace creates a world in her head where Phineas and Ferb do incredible things. Dr. Doofenshmirtz is her psychologist who is trying to get her back to normal. On the last episode, when the two brothers go to college, this symbolizes the acceptance of her younger brother's death and her ability to move forward. I'm sorry guys. I'm about to ruin your childhood. Do you guys remember in Snow White, the prince saves her and they live happily ever after? Wrong. Snow White died in that coffin and the prince is the angel of death. When Snow White is being careless around the well, she almost falls in and it's her first glimpse of death. It's no coincidence that it's also her first glance at the prince. The prince is united with her only after she eats the poison apple. He gives her the kiss of death and Snow White says goodbye to the rest of her friends as they are still living and cannot come to the afterlife. Rest in peace, Snow White. I'm about to ruin your childhood. Did you ever wonder why Mr. Krabs is so protective over his Krabby Patty recipe? And why there's almost no crabs in Bikini Bottom? This is because the secret ingredient is actually crabs, and Mr. Krabs is a cannibal himself. I'm sorry, guys.